Hello, September is Hispanic Heritage Month, and we'll tell you how you can celebrate at an event honoring Roberto Clemente and help community members at the same time. Plus, this is also National Sickle Cell Awareness Month. A local organization is here to make sure you know who to call if you or someone you know needs resources. And the pendulum of the job market is swinging and not in the right direction. So what do you do in a tightening job market when you're looking for your next move up? A panel of experts joins us with their ideas. So pull up a chair and meet us at the corner. Intersection starts right now. Hello, I'm Lisa Smith, the Director of Community Impact at KDKA Plus and the host of Intersections. Well, there are some signals that the job market is tightening. So how do you navigate the job market when you're ready to move up within your current organization or ready to move up and on with another company? And how do you do that in the current climate that devalues diversity? Well, we have guests today to discuss that scenario and ways that you can still advance your career. Joining me are Evan Frazier. He is the president and CEO of the Advanced Leadership Institute, as well as Sharday Jones, communication specialist with the Greenwood Plan. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Great to be here.
Absolutely. So I was looking at some of the most recent job figures or unemployment figures from the Federal Reserve, and overall unemployment right now is like 4.3. However, for African Americans, it is 8.0 and 5.3 for Hispanics. So, you know, when you hear those numbers, what's the first thing you think in terms of being able to encourage people about this current job climate? Sharday?
I'll go first. Well, I guess the first thing that I think about is how, because I have a tech background, is that AI is taking a lot of entry-level positions away from people that had just fresh out of college. Mm-hmm. And it's also that mix of the DEI crackdown on this new federal administration. But to give people hope, knowing what I know about AI in its current capacity, I don't foresee it keeping these entry-level jobs that they're basically doing trial and error with. Mm. And I foresee in the spring a lot of companies hiring people like, hey, we need someone to rein in the AI because the AI is not all encompassing right now.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Evan?
Sure. I recognize, in this environment, the conversation has changed, but the need hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that, I continue to come back to is the importance of leadership and understanding, how can we all improve our own leadership? And through improving individual leadership, you're improving your organizations, you're improving our society as a whole. Leadership is really critical. And that's what we focus on at the Advanced Leadership Institute. Mm-hmm. And so we've been doing a number of things. One of the things we've been doing is focusing on launching our first inaugural conference. It's called Keeping It Real, and REAL stands for resilience, agility, excellence, and leadership. Mm-hmm. Or resilience, excellence, agility, and leadership. Yeah. In that order. But and it's really giving people an opportunity to enrich themselves, sharpen their skills, but more importantly, meeting some people, building connections, building relationships. Right now in this environment, it's building those critical relationships that are going to help you connect with other people, mm-hmm. but also demonstrating leadership, that you are finding ways to improve yourself from as a leader, and it's someone who's really trying to maximize the value that they bring to their organization. Yeah.
So, what if you're in a current position, right, and you're trying to take that next step? You feel like you're ready. You've learned what you need to learn. You're ready for that next step. How do you do that? Who do you talk to? Like, do you find a mentor at work or network with some people out of work? And what are some of the steps you?
It's a combination. Yeah. Collaboration is key right now, and it's important that, yes, find a mentor if you can. Also, the idea that I gave people is I use AI technology to my own betterment. For example, I knew I didn't want to be in tech anymore, and about a year and a half ago, I asked ChatGPT, I gave ChatGPT my resume and I told them all the things that I like doing. And I said, please give me some ideas of what to do with my career next. Also going to the networking events to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
You have to take stake to know what you're working with to figure out what you need to improve on.
Yeah, your ideas? Evan?
Yeah, well, first, those are great ideas. That,
Yeah.
just to build upon those ideas, it's just this technology thing is so important in AI. If you really want to be on the cutting edge, starting to dive into that and really make yourself familiar with it is really, really important. And I do feel that one of the things that we can all be doing is trying to figure out what kind of steps we can take that are deliberate steps, the networking, thinking about organizations, thinking about conferences. How do we connect with people in those ways that love the way you shared that.
Yeah, and when we started, we were talking about the devaluing of diversity, and so how do you navigate those kinds of waters where you want to be able to advance, but you don't want things to basically be in your way of your advancement. So how do you get around that?
Yeah. Well, I'll start there, and I'll just start by saying that recognizing what that environment is, understanding that diversity of thought. Every organization will say and say diversity of thought is critical, and regardless of however they feel about DEI or whatever it might be. And the reality is, to really get diversity of thought, you have to have diversity of representation. You're not going to get those diverse points of view unless you have, diverse folks around the table. And so that's the reality of it. And so diversity of thought, great. And but I think all organizations recognize the importance of being able to get that in whatever way is appropriate given this current environment.
And it's also important to look at the organizations and understand if they say that they're all about diversity is one thing, but to see if they actually mean it. Look at their board members, look at their current employers, and go where you're valued. Don't diminish your value just to fit in a place that you don't need to be.
Yeah. So what you guys both kind of have similar yet different areas that you come from. So tell us a little bit about Greenwood Plan, how you work with people, and I know you have an event coming up.
Greenwood Plan is absolutely amazing. I was glad when they asked me to be a part of their team. Greenwood Plan is like the Black Business Library here in Pittsburgh, and we have our annual Black Business Conference, October 9th to October 11th, and we're absolutely excited about it because it's full of networking. We're having a town hall, we're having a party, but also there'll be educational classes for entrepreneurs.
And Evan, you already talked a little bit about keeping it real. Tell us a little bit about that structure, because I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be speaking at that conference.
Sure. So for our organization, the Advanced Leadership Institute, TALI, other people know us as TALI, so we have it coming up on October 1st and 2nd. The first is really a night of celebration, asking the community to come out and celebrate with us all the success and the wonderful things that are happening. Because there are wonderful things happening in the midst of everything else that we all deal with, right? The second day is it's really about leadership development, executive education, leadership development. We have some amazing keynote speakers, people like Dr. Alita Richards, Trabian Shorters is coming. Alita Richards is president of Crane Currency. Trabian Shorters is coming in from Florida and has an amazing program and deals with some just incredible talk. He's one of the inventors of something called asset framing. But we have topics on AI, on executive communication. We have topics that on resilience, and how do you navigate today's environment. And it's it's open, And so we hope people, regardless of your background, who are interested in the work that we're doing, you're welcome to come.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for being here with us today. We did show the information on the screen so people can learn more about what you do. And thanks for all you do. We appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And coming up, sickle cell disease can be devastating for patients. A local organization is trying to help. Intersections, we'll be right back. Well, Well, according to the CDC, sickle cell disease impacts around 100,000 Americans, and the vast majority, more than 90%, are of African ancestry. About 10,000 people with sickle cell live here in Pennsylvania. September is National Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and there is a Pittsburgh-based foundation that has been working to increase awareness and support for patients and their families. They've also launched a toll-free number that anyone can call to be connected to sickle cell resources. Andrea Matthews is the founder of the Children's Sickle Cell Disease Foundation, and she joins us now on Intersections. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So you started this foundation basically out of necessity. Tell us a little bit about what you were experiencing and how you felt you could help other families.
Well, when my son was first diagnosed at birth. Everyone was diagnosed at birth through newborn screening. We were surprised because I knew I had trait, but we didn't know my husband had trait. And so we didn't think it was even possible because both parents have to have trait in order for their child to have sickle cell disease. And so we were caught off guard. I was just shocked and didn't exactly know what was in store. I had had cousins who had had sickle cell, so I was frightened. And I lived that whole first part just wondering how quickly things were going to happen and when he would have pain. So initially, we just went to the doctors. We had to see the doctor right away, get the confirmatory testing. When they did confirm that he did have sickle cell disease, he started on medicine right away to prevent him from having pneumonia. And at that time, it was a lot of fact-finding, and there was not a lot of information forthcoming. We stuck close to the hospital. We stayed connected to our social worker and our docs, and really got involved with learning everything I could learn about sickle cell. I wanted to know what was going to happen, how soon it was going to happen, and what his life course was going to be. Sickle cell used to be known as a childhood disease, and through advancements, research, and medical breakthroughs, my son is now 25, living well with sickle cell. I look back on those times. It was very difficult trying to find information and support at that time. So that's why when he was 2, I knew by the time he was 2, we needed to do something. I needed to find some other families. I wanted to find some support, and that was really how Children's Sickle Cell Foundation came to be.
Yeah, and now you guys represent a large part of the state in terms of your outreach. What do people come to you searching for?
They come searching for support. They wanted information, trusted information. So the large part of what Children's Sickle Cell Foundation does is educate. So we educate families on how to care for their children, especially the newborns. I wrote a book, Living Well with Sickle Cell, a handbook for parents and caregivers, and they immediately get this toolkit with a handbook, a thermometer, a medicine dropper, and they get education about what sickle cell disease and what it's not, and what they can look forward to, because everybody's course is different. Every person with sickle cell has a different course, so it makes it difficult to know exactly what's going to happen. But there are some things that we know that we can do to help families keep their child as safe as possible, taking their medications, avoiding extremes of heat or cold, staying connected to your physician, and really listening and adhering to what the doctors are saying.
Yeah, and we're showing the video animation. The cells, basically, the red blood cells, have a sickle appearance, which is, and then they can, I guess, clot. Is that what happens? So
with sickle cell disease, it's an inherited red blood disease that affects the red blood cells. So normal red blood cells are round and squishy and flow easily through the tissues, taking oxygen to the tissue. And under certain circumstances, with a person with sickle cell disease, their red blood cells can change shape, become hard and sticky, and block that blood flow to the tissues. Anything beyond that blockage would essentially die. And so if that happens in your head, you could cause a stroke. If it happens in your chest, if your lungs, it could cause acute chest syndrome, which is a life-threatening situation. And if it happens in your joints, it could cause avascular necrosis and a host of other complications. So anywhere blood goes, it could be affected. And so Have you ever put a rubber band around your finger
Right,
when
and
you're
yeah.
little?
Sure, yeah.
And that pain that if you leave it on too long?
Yeah.
Imagine that's happening on a molecular level and you can't take it off.
Right.
So increasing fluids and using strong medicines was the only treatment for a long, long time. And now there are other treatments like hydroxyurea, which my son has been on since he was 6.
Yeah.
So it has changed his life. It is the gold standard in treating sickle cell disease, but it's not a cure.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to run out of time because you guys have a toll-free number
Yes.
that people can call to access resources. And so this is the number, we have it on the screen, it's 855-SICKLE-8. And so very quickly, who's on the other end of that call?
So the other end of the call is a community health worker who is certified to train to share information, just as I've shared it, provide resources, connect them with resources in their area closest to them. If you live in Southwest Pennsylvania, that would be us, Southwest, Northwest, or in the Northeast region. And then we have partner organizations that are in Philadelphia area and also in the Central Pennsylvania area. So it's good care, and it's you can be connected to care and community-based resources.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you coming and sharing this vital information. I know that actually today you want people to wear red as a challenge, and you have yours on, and I do too. So thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. And Intersections, we'll be right back. Well, of course, Pittsburgh has a lot of sports heroes, and one of the favorites is certainly Roberto Clemente. And there is an event coming up that celebrates Clemente and his legacy. It's called the Viva Clemente, and it comes later this week. Now, two of the event organizers are here to tell us more. Monica Ruiz is the executive director of Casa San Jose, and Vilmarie Estrella Loque is the chief programs officer. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so I know, Monica, this is not the first time you guys have done this. Tell us why Roberto Clemente is so adored here in Pittsburgh, as well as in the Latin American community.
I mean, he was a wonderful baseball player, right? And people remember that. Pittsburgh loves their sports. And I think the highlighting of his legacy and his life is something that never died down. He was a great humanitarian, and that has lived on, obviously, since years after he has passed. And so he brought a lot to the sport here. He did a lot for the civil rights for Latinos and African Americans here. And so I think that's part of why people love him so much.
Yeah. Do you have a personal connection to Roberto Clemente in terms of him meaning a lot to you?
Absolutely. I was born in Puerto Rico, so we idolize Roberto Clemente. Any Puerto Rican is able to recognize him, and we all know his history of humanitarian work and all the wonderful things that he's done to uplift the community.
How do you think his legacy is continued through some of the things that you guys do with events like this?
Absolutely. Well, his humanitarian work is one of the things he's known for outside of the field. And that's a lot of what we do at Casa San Jose. We serve the Latino community and uplift them and help them move forward and move up in society by connecting them to resources, advancing their education, and many other things.
All right. So tell us about the event. It's obviously it looks like a ton of fun. I mean, there's music and there's food. I'm hearing it's like authentic, authentic food. So tell us about the event.
Yeah, so we are lucky enough to have a lot of sponsorships from the labor unions. It's started by the labor union, the LACLA, the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement. And so because of the sponsorships, we're able to offer a lot of the tickets to our community free of charge. But there is a speaking component of it that highlights a lot of the accomplishments and things that Latinos have done here locally. And then there's music, but the food is it. The food is everything. And it's hard to get really good Puerto Rican food outside of Puerto Rico, but this is really a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
There's a thing that we have called a caja china. It's a pig roast inside a box.
Yes.
And it's a very specific thing, but any Puerto Rican will know what that is. And we will have one of those at the event.
Yeah, yeah. So this is also an opportunity to raise funds. Tell us a little bit about that fundraiser piece.
Yeah, this is the 8th year that we've had it. And is it the 8th? I think so. Yeah,
Yes.
sure. Yes. And the money always comes to CASA, and it helps with specific programming that we have. In the past, we've used it for the bond fund that we use to help people pay their bonds. And this year, we're just going to use it for more general operating for some of the things that the services that we're providing to our community right now.
So that event is coming up, but then kind of in the midst of that, there is a whole other event happening. Tell us a little bit about this conference that's coming to Pittsburgh for the first time.
We are so excited. So the Latino Convention, it's the PA Latino Convention. It's always been either in like Harrisburg or Bethlehem or Philadelphia, and I've been asking for quite some time for it to come here. And although we have a smaller Latino population than they do have like in central and eastern Pennsylvania, it doesn't matter. It's here, we're gonna celebrate. It's going to really highlight a lot of the work that's not only done here, but also across the state that Latinos have been able to contribute. We're over 1 million Latinos strong now. And so
In Pennsylvania?
in Pennsylvania alone.
Okay, wow.
And so I think it's really, it's time for something like this to come to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we've seen growth of the Latino population here in Pittsburgh. Why do you think that's happening?
I think people come for jobs a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's still fairly affordable compared to other cities.
Yeah.
The crime is still fairly low compared to other cities, and there is opportunities for advancement here economically. Although we're seeing things change daily sometimes, but I don't know, Pittsburgh has always been like this, you know, just we have to do what we have to do kind of town, and I think we're still living those times.
Yeah, having that conference here, does it refocus Pittsburgh as a place for the Latino community, do you think?
I think it does, really. I work across the state a lot, and I'm always like, but Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh. And so I've spoken to the folks at the city and at the county to have a table there so they can highlight some of the things, because we'd love for people to move here. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, we're showing the flyer for Viva Clemente, and people can scan that QR code for more information on that. And I didn't get a chance to put anything on the conference, but the conference is happening in that same time frame.
September 25th through September 27th.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's the PA Latino Convention.
It should be awesome.
Anyone can attend, and the workshops are all free. So I'm highly encouraging people to come on down.
Perfect, perfect. Sounds great. Well, thank you both so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. And, all the best with both of these big events happening.
Thank you. Gracias.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you. And I'll have my last word when we come back. That's all our time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Intersections.